have our population, which is more or less up to some extent went through traumatic experience. And notice, I'm not saying our population all have PTSD. That's not true. It doesn't mean that every person exposed to trauma had PTSD. No, but those who have, they have hope that through work with resources, through going back into body, they will feel better. They will find a way to continue very fruitful life. What I like to say, it's a biological term, creative adjustment. So when something happened developmentally, traumatically, our ability to adjust creatively is broken. We are in a kind of corridor of repetitive patterns or reactive patterns. So our work, psychotherapy, goal is to reestablish creative adjustment or ability to, or for the person to adjust creatively. And I will try to share my screen so that you could see it. I have never done it in this. Allow share screen. Okay. I'm not sure that I can do it because Safari needs permission. Okay, I will better tell you because pictures are nice, but I will drown in these new functions. So, do you know, guys, what a snowman is? Have you ever seen? I cannot see you, so I don't know where you are from, but snow is what falls from the sky instead of rain in winter. And in northern countries, kids make snowmen. And classical snowman is something consists of 3 big snowballs. One big, the bottom big, middle size, and the head is smaller. So modern human being, modern Homo sapiens model is the snowman turned upside down with a very huge mental part, huge head, huge thinking part. Then somewhere in the middle there are emotions and a very tiny bottom of body awareness. The problem of modern human being is that since we become verbal around between year and 3, since we start talking, our parents say to us, stop. What happened? Can you see me? Okay.
Yes.
So our parents say to us, stop crying, tell me, explain to me. So parents stop asking questions to our body. They start asking questions to our mind. And from that moment on, all humanity, all social environment, every establishment applies, asks questions to our head and forgets about our body. Our religions also say that we don't have to think a lot about our body. Our body is sinful. Our body is just burden. Our soul is important part. And that, guys, lasted for centuries. And the average human being now does not, at least it's not the first thing we think. A body is not the first. We will think about emotions. We will, when I ask my clients, what do you sense? They say, oh, I think I sense. So that's a pattern of communication. So my favorite image is that we need in psychotherapy to turn the snowman in normal position, so that the body awareness could be big, nice basement, then the place for emotions, and then some part for the thankful head. Or at least to make out of it street lights with equal parts, but not this turned upside down. So that is my idea, and my idea was to bring some curiosity to this approach, because I know that in many, it is now in Europe in many countries, and we have trainings in many countries in the world, but not everywhere. So if you have questions, please ask.
Thank you for this very clear presentation. Really full of very useful suggestions. Any questions? Yes, we have a question.
If we talk about Ukraine, we're also talking about some kids that had some traumas of the body. How we can work with this methodic if the kids have some physical traumas, for example, have no leg, have no hand, or the worst, if kid was traumatized because of the war. For example, the missile was arrived, yes, and now kids can't have a leg. How we can work in this case?
Thank you very much for the question. It is important, of course, to have a body, but even if the person has lost a limb, it has an experience of the body. So there are two parts. One side is to help person to accept the change in the body. And therefore, the other part, to create new body awareness, to integrate this new body. And that's what also they work with warriors who are wounded, who lost legs, hands, or who have some kind of disabilities, so that their body functions differently than it was before the war. And actually, at some point, even with paralyzed people, here we use our snowman, and we can use imagination and what we call idiomotoric approach, when we imagine actions and our nervous system reproduces the actions, so that even paralyzed people can run in imagination, for example. Sometimes it is necessary for them.
Thank you all of you. Now we have to go to the conclusion of this very interesting meeting. We had the precious reports about clinical work to contrast the consequences of trauma and in particular of war traumas. With the use of different methodologies in different social and cultural contexts. And this conference, I think it will be just the beginning of a process of interactions between the clinicians and volunteers aimed at using psychological knowledge and psychological techniques in order to heal people affected by war traumas. Now I leave the floor to Alina for the real conclusion of this. I think your conclusion was perfectly nice. Yeah, thank you very much for being the moderator today. For hosting us. It's amazing to have you here. We would like to address, the incredible amount of knowledge and skills in the psychology and in psychotherapy and in anthropology that Piera has. I hope she's going to be our next presenter during the following conferences, and I totally agree that the questions of psychological trauma in the war zone have to be addressed, and we do at the beginning of it to see from the developmental, from the brain functioning, from the mind's reaction to extreme events, from the techniques of psychotherapy that can be applied to treat difficult situations when we're talking about dysfunctions in the soul line, dysfunction in our psyche. So I would like to appreciate every participant, every presenter agreed to take part in this conference. It means a lot to us because it leads us to follow this. I hope it's going to become a tradition to talk with the international experts about what really matters. And as you said about the creative readjustment, since we had an opportunity to talk to Gevchuk Solovyanova today, she is one of the clinicians, main clinicians in the Foundation for Human, which take care of children who got severely traumatized due to the war. And the focus of this association is in the arts pedagogy. So it's exactly the way how they try to retrieve the children's dignity and mutual connections, because they work with the mentors, they work with support with psychologists, and they, in a social circle, try to retrieve the creativity, which is a power of human. And in this way, I also think that probably they work on the self-confidence and self-esteem because they can see the outcomes of the work. And I would like to show you what these kids have done to us as the present. I'll just connect my own laptop so that you can see it.
Okay. I apologize for the echo. So this is a short kind of a lab, and children from Tokyo, they made a presents for all the speakers of today's conference. So thank you all for your support, for your contribution, and for your collaboration. And the first back will go to Dr. Piera Serra for being the moderator for today's conference.
Thank you so much. Very, I appreciate very much this. This is very precious gift. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.